Good afternoon. Today I have the lovely Sharon with me. Hiya, Sharon. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi Donna, thanks for having me. I'm a crime writer, based in Belfast. My first of my new crime fiction series with Avon HarperCollins, Who Took Eden Mulligan, is out now. I'm also doing a PhD in crime fiction, specifically looking at gender and class, and I just love everything about my genre.
Did you always want to write?
Yeah, pretty much from as soon as I could hold a pen and fold a page in two and create my own little book, yes. And my dad was very good at supplying me with lots of stationery. So I had lots of lovely hardback notebooks. I think he started a very bad habit early on. And we lived quite close to the local library and a very, very good secondhand bookshop. And I went from one to the other, and yeah, if it wasn't, within the pages of a book, I wasn't really interested.
And what made you take the leap and finally go for it?
Do you know what? It was one of those things where I always treated it almost like a hobby. It's like this little dark secret, because if you don't tell anybody and you get the rejections, then you think it won't hurt as much. So it took a long time for me to get over that and sort of say, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and treat it with the respect it deserves, because it's a craft, you got to work at it. So it was about 2016, 2015 when I first sort of saying, right, this is what I want to do, and being a bit more strategic about it as well. So yeah, you're learning your craft of writing the whole time. Every book's teaching you something new, and every book you read is teaching you something new. But in the background, you're having to sort of understand the whole industry of publishing and get to know, key players within the agents, booksellers as well, building up all that network, and then sort of getting to that stage where you're ready to submit. So it's a process.
Yeah, and a lot longer and more complicated one than I think anyone knows.
Definitely. And no two writers have the same path. There's no easy way in. I think the number of people that write their first novel and successfully sell it to a publisher, I mean, it must be minuscule. Yes, it happens, but the odds are not stacked in your favor as such to break through straight away. But that's not to say that if you don't put in the work, and if you do that and you really write the best book you can possibly write, I definitely believe there's somebody out there wanting to read it, so I would hate to put off new writers, because I think it's the best job in the world. So yeah, the odds might seem stacked against you, but it's still worth the gamble.
And what made you decide to do the PhD?
I suppose I'm a bit of a closet swot, I love academic life. I love just being around my university. I'm at Queen's University in Belfast. That's where I did my undergrad degree, and then did my postgrad in London in City University. And I suppose it was just always an itch that I had to scratch to go back. And I've taught for years, teaching creative writing specifically, and I absolutely love that. So I've always been interested in almost the theory behind writing, so it just seemed a natural progression to try and do a PhD. And I'm doing a creative practice-led PhD, which is absolutely brilliant, which means I create a new piece of fiction within this PhD. So yeah, it's just perfect for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't know such things existed actually.
Yeah, people don't. Yeah.
Um, Out of all the books you've written so far, who's been your favourite character to write?
I think Rose Laney in Who Took Eden Mulligan. She's just, she's quite brittle in some ways. She's carrying a lot of baggage, but I can just see her character arc is so obvious to me where I want her to go. And I love Danny and how the two of them riffed off each other. So yeah, I suppose her, but also Eden Mulligan, because even though she's not really a live character in the book, she's the spectre that hangs over everything, and trying to work out what happens when a mother is taken from a family and they've got no answers, and the implications of that goes through the next generation. So yeah, probably Rose and Eden.
What's been your most difficult scene to write, and what's been the most fun one?
Probably the most fun would be maybe my first novel, Little Bird. There was a lot of taxidermy in that and some very gruesome stuff. And I do find that the most fun to write. But, when you're writing about death, you're most definitely writing about grief. So I always like to give my characters room to explore that and express it. And that's always difficult to write, because you're feeling the emotions, you're drawing on your own emotions and experiences that you've gone through in life. So yeah, probably sort of the aftermath of a murder. It's how that affects the people that are left behind. That's the difficult thing.
What's the most interesting thing you found researching your books?
I love researching place and knowing what has gone on before you've got there and the characters have got there. And so place almost takes on a bit of a character of its own in its own right. And I feel like Belfast is like that in my books. I hope it is, because I love this city with all its complications and difficulties. I think there's still a lot of good here, and yes, I'm keen for readers to get to know Belfast in a new way, maybe.
If you were to be a character in any of your books, which book would you choose?
That's really tough. Oh, I think I might be Eden Mulligan, because she was quite glamorous at a time when, working class women weren't allowed to be glamorous, because, people in the community would be saying like, oh, who does she think she is, So somebody like that really doesn't give a damn about what other people think and sort of walks her own path in life. Yeah.
Do you have any fears or phobias, and would you write about them, or have you written about them?
Yeah, I'm terrified of heights, and I have a new standalone novel. It's sort of like a modern day gothic thriller with a rock band, and there's a scene where a character is balancing on a balcony on a high rise, and honestly, even talking about it, my palms get sweaty. It is such an intense phobia. And I actually thought, if I write about this and really torture myself, maybe I'll cure it. But no, that has not happened. Literally, I can't watch a scene on a film or a drama where the camera pans down and you get that sensation, So no, heights is my absolute cannot do.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you frightened of?
The dentist, no question. Absolutely. Yeah, especially the drill. I've sat in a waiting room and heard the drill and nearly got up and walked out.
No.
And when I'm in the chair, I clench my fist because I'm terrified, but they hold my hands down because they think I'm going to punch the dentist, and I'm not. I'm just terrified.
Well, I have to tell you, my mother-in-law is that woman who did punch her dentist. And it was just totally like, she couldn't believe she'd done it, but it was just like a reflex. So, but my sort of thing for that would be to wear noise cancelling headphones, because I think the noise of the drill is part of the problem, isn't it? It is horrible. I had root canal surgery not that long ago, and it was dreadful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to have the tooth out, I think. Just take it out. But,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, absolutely. My thing is, yeah. And I had fillings fall out during lockdown, and I haven't been to the dentist yet, and I know I need to, but if it is fine, right? That works. It does the job.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. Oh, being an adult is just
it's hard. The struggle is real.
I mean, we have the choice. We shouldn't have the choice. I have the choice now. It's up to me if I go or not. So I'm not going to, because I don't have to. There's no one to tell me that I do. Oh, yeah. Anyway, books.
Books, yes, distract ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd rather talk about books than a dentist anytime anyway.
Yeah.
Have you made lots of author friends?
Yes, I have actually. The whole crime writing community are so welcoming. It's untrue. Within Avon, you know, we've got a great stable there. Claire Allen's been so supportive, Pam Leckie. There's just been so many. And then within the Northern Irish crime writing community, you know, people like Steve Kavanagh, who's like hugely successful, so kind to read my book and give me, you know, a bit of support with the blurb. Kelly Crichton's a really good friend within the Northern Irish crime writing community. Stuart Neville, Bram McGilloway, Anthony Quinn. They're just all brilliant, you know. And I would do quite a lot of book events, and I've done some that aren't crime led, and it's different, you know. I think crime writers are definitely warm and cozy and cuddly and, you know, just good people.
I do. I speak to them nearly daily, and I completely agree. Kind of nuts sometimes, but you know,
Yeah.
generally lovely.
Find our tribe there, Donna.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I found my people. And it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And do you get a lot of feedback from readers?
Yeah, I do, and that's so lovely and so rewarding, you know. I would get quite a lot of emails or Twitter messages, excuse me, Facebook as well. And the reviews are just so heartwarming when somebody goes out there and buys your book, like spends their money on your book, takes the time to read it, and then responds to it in a positive way. It's just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and I've had readers send me gifts, which is really nice as well. Yeah, so it's yeah, the fun side of it as well is that has probably been the most surprising part of it, you know. Yeah, you don't expect to get presents in the post from your readers.
Yeah, I know of actually quite a few readers that do that. It's really lovely actually, and yeah, I've seen a few that have gifted authors stuff, and the stuff they gift them is awesome as well. So yeah, it's lovely. Yeah. And what so far has been your standout favourite moment, if you have one?
Probably getting the Avon deal. It came right at the beginning of the first lockdown when we all thought, you know, the world was ending. So yeah, getting that was like huge for me. It was, you know, I'd published before with indie publisher Bloodhound, which was brilliant. But I was ready for that next move up, with bigger distribution, you know, and Avon came in and made a brilliant offer and just could see the whole vision for the series, which, you know, I was so excited about. So that was fantastic. And then within a week, I got an email with funding for my PhD. So that was like literally two huge ambitions coming together at the same time. And it's that moment of thinking, oh, can I do both? And then you don't even, you know, really acknowledge the question. You just think you're going to make it work, you know? So I'm still here a year later. I'm fine.
And how much more of your PhD have you got left to go?
2 more years, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I know already that I will be devastated when it's over. You know, it's just like, oh, you know, just to be able to sort of luxuriate within the whole genre that you love and to be able to read widely around it and the academic work on it and the criticism, and just have that time to really, you know, submerge myself in my work. It feels like a very selfish thing to do. Because, you know, you're wondering, oh, I'm putting all this effort in. Will anybody ever read my thesis? But, you know, who cares? You know?
Yeah, I thought I'd be like that about my degree until lockdown happened, and then I was just like, I need this to end now, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, believe me, I've had those moments too, but you know, I'm in a good patch at the minute. So.
But what's your biggest dream as an author?
Just to be allowed to keep doing this, you know, I wish I had sort of like a strategy and a 5-year business plan for my books, but it's just, yeah, just as long as the readers keep coming and my publisher's happy enough with the sales, though they've been very good, I've got to say, you know, and I get another contract, just to be able to keep doing the job I love. And, you know, there has been muted conversations about options for TV and film, but you know, you can't wait on that. That's not the end game, you know. It's about getting the book out there for me, and yeah, I just love that.
It's a surprisingly common answer, actually. So yeah, that's cool. What word or phrase do you overuse? What does your editor shout at you for using all the time?
Just everybody is just about to do something, you know. So I've got the stage now where I know to sort of watch my justs. So with every new manuscript, you find something else kicks in, another tick, you lose one, you gain one. So yeah, I probably don't even know what this one is yet until I add it in. I think, oh, you know.
You're the second author I spoke to recently that has just.
Yeah.
That's quite funny. I love how everyone knows it like that as well. There's no thinking, they just know.
It hurts when you know you're doing it. You're like, oh, and then you hear it and you read it everywhere and you're like, even if the sentence needs that, just I won't do it now, you know.
Oh dear, I love it. If you're able to spend a day with any author, dead or alive, who would you like to spend a day with?
Probably Stephen King. I think I would quite like to spend some time with him. I think he's a bit of a creative genius, you know, and I think like many crime writers, I started off, you know, my teens reading a lot of horror and a lot of Stephen King. And I really think he is just the best storyteller out there, you know. He just reels you in, and you know, as a reader, you're immediately comfortable, and you know that you're going to be taken on this ride with this expert in manipulation. He's going to manipulate you every which way, and you're like, yeah, I'm here. Come on, give me your best shots. And he continues to surprise and produce brilliant books. So yeah.
Yep. If he was to go to every person that I ask, he'd be a very busy man.
I know. And if you want to dig up Mary Shelley, I'd love to have dinner with her as well.
Who's your biggest author that you'd fangirl over, that you'd totally lose it, apart from Stephen King, I guess? Probably
Tana French. I think she's probably the biggest influence on my work, but also Megan Abbott. God, there's so many, absolutely so many. Chris Whittaker at the minute as well. I'm fangirling over We Begin at the End, something terrible. Katrina Ward. I just love The Last House on Needless Street. So yeah, she's just fabulous. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to tie down Chris Whittaker for an interview. I met him at Harrogate. Yeah. And we keep going back and forwards. And he promised I could tie him down. I'm assuming he means for an interview, but yeah. He's lovely, yeah. He is lovely. He really is lovely, yeah. And I don't think he appreciates how good his book is at all. Yeah, bless him. He keeps getting the awards. I think it'll eventually have to dawn on him. Just one after another, and yeah. I mean, they are so deserved as well, and yet he's still just like, no. Bless him. Catherine Armstrong was the editor for We Begin at the End, and she's from Northern Ireland, so it's just like, I feel it's a win for the Northern Irish crime community in a way as well. You know, I'm going to claim it no matter what. Do you have any like specific
events that are just in Ireland? Do you get to meet all the other Irish authors?
Yeah, we're very lucky that we have No Alibis, an independent bookstore very close to me on Botanic Avenue, and it's run by a guy called Dave Torrance and his partner Claudia as well. And it's really a crime-led bookstore. So of course they have fantastic events, you know, the likes of Linwood Barclay's been over in Rankin, you know, just all the greats. And Steve Cavanagh, Adrian McGinty would often have events there as well before lockdown. John Connolly. So you're always guaranteed a good bookish night, you know. And we've also got Belfast Book Festival, which is really popular, and I would have been involved in that quite a bit. So yeah, we've a lot of festivals and a lot of interest and a lot of readers and a lot of writers, which is great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Kind of jealous, actually.
Come visit.
Yeah, I know a few Irish authors now as well, so yeah, I'd absolutely love to. I'd be there. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
I like walking with my friends. I love watching crime dramas. So yeah, just being with family and friends, you know, like I had a sleepover at my sister's last night with my cousins and my daughter's cousins, and you know, the whole lot of us, my mom. It's just the best crack that you can have, you know. And just hanging out with my friends as well. I've got really close friends, girlfriends who I've known for about 20 years now. And you're just guaranteed a good night when we're together. We don't need to be doing much. And, you know, every night we think it's the most epic night ever. And then spend the next week, you know, texting, you know, do you remember when you said that? You know, we think we're hilarious when we're together. But
Right, and was it? Are they really proud to have like a famous author amongst their midst?
yeah, they're loving it because we've been out to celebrate the book deal, we've been out to celebrate the Irish release, we've been out to celebrate the UK release. And I said, at this stage, I'm feeling a little bit used, you know, you're just using me for the celebration. But no, they're all absolutely loving it. And of course, they're all mentioned in the acknowledgements. So it's they're okay then. I'm allowed to enjoy the success because they're there with me.
Are there any secret jokes or messages or Easter eggs in your books?
Yeah, for my friends, really. And some of them are just for me, you know, and it could be like a musical reference. I really love rock music and Led Zeppelin. So if I can sort of drop a little sort of Easter egg relating to that, I do. One of my best friends said when my first book, Little Bird, come out, she said, I better be in that book. And she's sitting there reading it, and there's a description of a middle-aged blonde woman walking a Cavalier King Charles dog. And she was like, I had to be the middle-aged one. Why can't I be, you know, the sexy victim or something, you know? But yeah. But yeah, it's fun to do that, you know, or I will use a surname of somebody close to me, and, you know, they get a kick out of that, and so do I.
Do they always want to be killers? I always find everyone wants to be the murderer when they're in a book.
Yeah.
I was recently named in a book, and I'm a sex mad politician, which is different. Yeah.
Very good. Oh.
Yeah, because you know, why not? Yeah, it's funny. It makes me laugh because thankfully nothing like me at all. I will hasten to add. Who is your first celebrity crush?
I say John Travolta in Grease, and my mother says no, Noddy Holder from Slade. She said when I was 3, I would be looking at the TV going, oh, he's lovely. But no, I think it was probably John Travolta from Grease. Yeah.
I'm sure when you're 3, you're not old enough to really appreciate.
No, but she said, you know, I think it was just the song, the Christmas song.
Yeah, how could you not like John Travolta?
Yeah, that's it.
If you were able to travel to any time, either forward or back, where would you go?
Funny, I was asked this very recently, and I said the late 1970s, and I thought I was alive then. Why did I pick them? But I meant to be there at this age because I love all the 70s music. And I feel like, I was born too late to really enjoy. I'd love to go to some of the big concerts that were happening then, Nebworth and places like that. So, yeah, I think that, or maybe sort of 18th century. So it can be, sort of a lady that's always needing her smelling salts and reading her correspondence and keeping her diary that, I have to take to my bed every now and then.
Oh yeah. Oof. I like our modern hygiene and medicine. I definitely wouldn't go back then.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, we are so spoiled in some ways, aren't we?
Yeah, but I agree. I was born in '83, so I was born in the best era of music, but was too young to appreciate it. So I'd love to go back and be old enough to see some of the bands live.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally get that. Are you working on anything at the moment, and do you know what you're doing next?
Yeah, I do. I'm working on the PhD novel at the minute, so that's what I'm writing. I've just finished editing and proofing the second in the Rose and Danny series. I'm starting the next two sort of outlines for that series, and I have a standalone that I'm editing at the minute. So there's always about 3 or 4 projects going on at any one time, and that's fine, It's the way I read like that. I read 4 or 5 books at any one time, so my brain has got used to switching from one project to the other, thank God, because I don't know how I would do it otherwise. But yeah,
I can't do that. Just strictly one at a time. I can't read more than one.
but I always say to people, though, you'd watch more than one television program at a time. You would start one series and then be watching something, whereas to me it's just the same with the book.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
I do think you've got to sort of train your mind to cope with it. And I do think it slows me down, because that means it's going to take me longer to finish a book because I'm sharing that time with other books. But I'm just so greedy for story. So I'm like, oh, it's the next new release, so the next shiny thing that comes through the door, I've got to read it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fly through books. I read a book a day generally, so it doesn't bother me having just one, because I just go to the next one. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to keep up with all the arcs and everything. I have to read a book.
I know, you'd be swimming in them.
Yeah, I don't look at my TBR. I don't even want to know how many books are on there. There's lots, and it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to live to about 200, I think, to maybe finish them all.
I think it should be a moratorium, and we all say, right, okay, nobody publish for 3 months so we can get caught up.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a complete hiatus, nothing. Just everyone chill.
Yeah, and we all go on a reading retreat for 3 months, and we do nothing else, and we'll all be caught up, and then we go, okay, right, now let's start again.
Yeah, I like that idea. Actually, we need to make this happen.
We'll action it.
Yes.
We'll write to the government.
He will laugh in our face, probably. I mean, you never know unless you try, I guess. If only any of us had any time, but our TBRs are calling and we just don't. Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you, unless you think there's anything that I haven't asked you that you wish to tell us.
I think that's us up to date and caught up on everything. So it's been really lovely, Donna. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I've been looking forward to this, as we have been trying to arrange this for some time.
We got there in the end.
We did. Before we go, would you just like to remind everyone about your book, where they can get it from, and where they can find out more about you?
Yeah, Who Took Eden Mulligan is published by Avon, HarperCollins. It's out now, out from the 19th of August, and you get in all good bookshops, Amazon, independent bookshops, and Waterstones, Eason's in Ireland. And I just hope readers, pick it up and love it. And yeah, let me know if you do enjoy it. I love hearing from readers.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, see you soon.